I think ignorance is bliss. I had no skill set at all how to run a company, how to run a business, and I was just taking it as it comes.
You're watching Hustle Stories with Ambika Anand. My guest today is the founder of brand Nappa Dori, Gautam Sinha. He started the brand in the year 2010, and today Nappa Dori has 14 stores across the world, including one in London and one in Dubai. Gautam, what does the term hustler mean to you?
Always be on the move, at the same time, always evolving. So you have to adapt to different situations instantly. This is what the hustle is.
Tell me about when you first chanced upon design and knew this is what you wanted to do.
Didn't plan to become a designer or start a brand. It happened by chance because firstly I was massively dyslexic, so academically I wasn't that strong. So I always knew that creatively I was still aligned with how I could express myself, and over time I've developed that skill. So when I did pass out from school, I was like, okay, you know what, this is something that I want to pursue in terms of anything creative, because at that point I could really express who I was.
Tell us about the story of Nappa Dori. How did it come into being?
So the name actually means leather and thread. Nappa being a fine quality of leather, Dori being thread. So they are the two muses to everything that I do. And I honestly, it was just me sitting down and contemplating where my life is going and what I want to do moving forward. And the two elements that I use constantly in my daily life to make things were there. And I said, okay, Nappa Dori sounds good, and maybe I start a brand. And it was just instinct that made it happen. It wasn't like a chalked out plan on a document sheet or anything like that. It was like, okay, this sounds good. I want to start a brand called Nappa Dori, and I want to do a couple of bags, some wristbands, some trays, a mixed bag of things, and let's see where it goes.
What was your dream for Nappa Dori when you started the brand?
It's been a crazy ride, to be honest. Like, last 13 years have been mad. It's been a real hustle, as you said. When I did start off, at that point of time, I just wanted to make a living. I wanted to make good product. I wanted to give a quality product to people, and that was the end game at that point of time. I think ignorance is bliss. I had no skill set at all how to run a company, how to run a business, and I was just taking it as it comes, making 5 bags. If I had material for 5 bags, I made 5 bags and put them in the store. I think Haus Khaz was just coming around at that point of time. I took a tiny little scooter garage in a back lane of Haus Khaz village, and actually started the brand with a store, which a lot of people don't do. They first test the market, experiment, put it in different stores, and there's a whole process that happens before you actually think of opening a store. And out here I was like, with just 3 lakh rupees in a pocket, and it's like, okay, the rent is just 10,000 rupees, and that means I can afford the store for just a year, and the rest is in product development, and I will just swing it and see where it goes. And I guess it kind of worked out well.
What is your design ethos and where do you find inspiration?
Travel. I think the only place I've ever found inspiration is on my travels. Every time I get a few days to myself, I pick up my bags and go somewhere. I think travel is the best education someone can give themselves, and everyone should do, because it evolves you as a person. And over my years of travels, I've obviously learned and seen things which I've implemented in my own craft, as I say.
What is Nappa Dori's recipe for success? What's a gap in the market you think you were able to fill?
Rather than filling a gap, there was no market segment, to be honest. At that point of time, what I was starting and what I was trying to do, there was no existing market in that segment. So creating a market segment for yourself is more the journey that I've had. And now you can see a lot more independent brands come up, a lot more leather brands that have mimicked the model that I've done. And I think we were first movers in that aspect, and not knowing where we were going and what we were doing has kind of helped us in a big way. And creating your own market segment has been a blessing in disguise.
And what's been your recipe for success? I mean, today you have 14 stores all over the world. You have a store in London and in Dubai.
Yeah.
What do you think is like the product differentiation there?
There's no product differentiation. I've always told people who have asked me this question, the product line that you see in India is exactly the same what you see in London. I think Nappa Dori has a very global palette, and it's palatable by anyone from any culture or any country. You know, if you like design and you like a certain aesthetic, we have it. And I think that's really worked well for us.
Take us through some of your biggest challenges in the 13-year journey.
One constant challenge which has always been there is funds. You know, I started off broke. I'm still broke, to be honest. Everything that I earn, I put back into the brand, and that's been a massive challenge. We're still 100% self-funded. We're not funded at all. Every little penny that's in the brand goes back into the brand.
What is your advice for other entrepreneurs out there? And what's special about India? What's most challenging?
Special is that anything and everything is possible in India. If you have the willpower to do it, you will do it. And the only advice that I would give to entrepreneurs is that, you know, don't lose heart before you even start. You know, half the people lose the battle before they even start an experiment by just planning. Don't plan too much. Plan a little, but let your own destiny take its course as well. You know, learn from your mistakes. Don't be scared of making mistakes.
And in this 13-year journey, what's been the biggest triumph or some of the biggest triumphs for you?
I always tell my team the same thing. Our superpower is us constantly evolving as a brand. We started off as a leather goods brand, but now I think we've evolved into a lifestyle brand. You know, we do almost everything. And we have a cafe, and you're sitting in this Cafe Dori in Gurgaon, and it's been a complete evolution of the brand that's happened over the last 13 years, which has made us more or less outliers in the fact that what we do is a bit different than what usually companies end up doing.
So last question, what is the one thing you know now that you wish you'd known when you started?
Well, the fact that I didn't know much when I started kind of worked for me. So I don't really think that question is the other way around. You know, the fact that I didn't know stuff when I started actually helped me a lot. And I hope people who are starting the journey and trying to be entrepreneurs or starting a venture or starting their own company don't overanalyze the moves they're going to make. Mistakes will happen, but that's the part of the journey.
And what's your vision for your brand 5-10 years from now?
I don't know. I've never really planned anything forward. Cafe Dori wasn't planned. Dori Living wasn't planned. Doing clothes wasn't planned. But I do know one thing for sure, that we're going to be in a lot more places in a lot more different countries. Our international expansion is happening, and it's important to us. India is always obviously the key market for us, but I think globally we do want to be in a lot of key cities.
What's next?
Somewhere in Europe.
Amazing.
So
All
I
right.
can't name the city, but it's going to happen.
We'll find out soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.